Many people say that electric cars have good performance. They save money since you don't have to pay for gas. And they are good for the environment because they have less pollution. Well, in this video we'll take a deep dive into the pros and cons of the new Mercedes all-electric EQ line and also electric vehicles in general. Coming up right now. First, let's talk about the cons of not only Mercedes EQ line, but also about electric vehicles in general. And I'm gonna start with a warning. Electric cars are not the same as regular cars, and they require some discipline on your part. So if you're not type of the person who can plan ahead of time, please stay away from electric cars as far as you can. Let me show you a few examples. Let's say you're driving a regular car and you see a low fuel on your dashboard. Low fuel message on your dashboard. Well, usually all you have to do is go to the nearest gas station, and some models can actually tell you how to get there. Then 5 minutes later, after you finish fill up, bam, you're on your way. No big deal, right? But if you have an electric vehicle, it's not going to be that simple. First, you need to find an electric charger for your car and wait, because someone else may already use it. Also, it has to have the correct connector for your particular vehicle. And then if you find one, it's not going to be 5 minutes. I'm sorry you're in a rush, you gotta slow down and wait. If you use just a regular wall box, 240 volt 32 ampere charger, and you want to charge your vehicle to 100% charge, it's gonna take forever. It may take a whole day to get to 100% or sometimes even more, depending on circumstances. However, if you use 110 kilowatt DC fast charger, you may be able to charge your vehicle in less than 1 hour, if the battery is relatively new. Wow, 1 hour is much better than 1 day. But it's still 1 hour that you have to erase from your life while waiting. The good thing, Mercedes provides 2 years of complimentary DC fast charging on the Electrify America ultra fast network. Who came up with that name? It sounds like I'm about to get electrocuted. Cut. Anyway, one thing they don't make clear is you only get 30 minutes for free. But it's not enough to complete a full charge. They say you can get up to 80% of charge in 30 minutes. But I think it will be less. You actually get faster charge in first 30 minutes. But the charge slows down after that. Plus, it's free only for first 2 years. After that, you're on your own. Another thing, if you want to go to the nearest Electrify America charging station, it may be far from you. Here is a website, electrifyamerica.com. Let's search by a zip code. My current location is in Porter Ranch right now, so if I search for the nearest station, it's right there in Van Nuys. Although I live in Los Angeles, the largest and the most populated city in the United States, I still need about half an hour to get there without traffic. And if you live somewhere else, the distance can make those charging benefits completely unusable. There is a strong argument that driving electric vehicle helps the environment because electric cars produce less of the pollution. But this argument works only for people who don't understand how the electricity is generated in the first place. How do you get an electricity inside your house? Well, most electricity is generated using fossil fuels. Hello people! So instead of burning gas in your car, the gas is burnt at the power station, which actually can create even more pollution than most modern cars. You all have cell phones, and you know that feeling when your cell phone starts losing the charge and you need to look for a cable desperately? I don't know about you, but I find myself looking for phone chargers constantly. Would you like to have the same anxiety with your car? Looking for cables, looking for chargers. Are you ready to deal with that? So coming back to my point, you gotta be disciplined to own an electric vehicle. Preferably, you should purchase and install DC fast charger in your home. But before that, you need to consult with an electrician, confirming that the wiring in your home can support that charger. Because if you have an older house with old wires, the whole place would need to be rewired. I'm just saying. It would help if you also had a charging station at your work. If you have a charging station at home and at work, this will certainly ensure that you can get to both places safely. Of course, you would need to plan your driving day ahead of time. Because if you run out of charge, guess what? Exactly. Now, what would normally happen if you run out of gas? Well, you can run to the nearest gas station and buy a gallon of fuel. Or you can call to AAA so they can bring it to you, right? That would give you enough to drive to the nearest gas station, and bam, you're on your way killing bugs. However, if your car is fully electric, not so fast. Since you can't bring the wall with electric outlet, you'll need to wait for a flatbed truck to pick your car and tow it to the nearest charging station. Some companies now offer the specially equipped vehicles that can generate a minor charge, but there are not many of them, and you'll need to wait. Either way, it's going to be a time-consuming process. Plus, I'll give you a tip. It's not a good idea to wait until the full discharge of the battery, and try not to let it drop below 10%. You should keep it above 10-20% at all times. If you let your battery to go to full discharge, its performance will be destroyed forever. You can't recover. By the way, the same statement applies to any regular car battery, but it's not as significant as in electric vehicles, where the battery is extremely expensive and it's the central lifeline of the car. The electric battery has to be protected from all sides. Because if it gets damaged, I don't want to scare you, but it will get on fire real fast. The good news is most electric vehicles come with almost indestructible protection surrounding the battery. It has to have the same bulletproof design as you can find in a tank. Now, what would happen in case of unexpected events? Let's say you plan to drive your car to work and back home, but all of a sudden you get a phone call that your sister has given birth. What? You have to go to hospital right now, which is about 30 miles from here? Okay, I gotta go. But wait, do I have enough charge to go there and then come back? Or imagine your neighbor knocks on your door and screams, "There is a fire in behind your house, you gotta leave now." Wait, there is a fire? I have to leave. But wait, can you please ask fire not to burn for about 30 minutes or so? I just need to charge my car a little, please. And then your neighbor tells you, even if I could stop the fire, which I can't, we have a complete blackout right now, the power is out, and since there is a power outage, you can't charge anything, buddy. All I'm saying, you gotta deal with a lot of stuff that you've never dealt with ever before. When you hear about electric vehicle, the first thing you hear, you don't have to pay for gasoline anymore. Yay! But many people forget that electric energy is not free either. Have you seen your water and power bill lately? Yes, it's less expensive by about 60%, but it's not free. These are official estimated numbers from Mercedes-Benz USA. Electricity in the United States is typically around 12 cents per kilowatt per hour. If you drive 15,000 miles a year, that's about $540 per year. A year of gas, on the other hand, can cost around $1,400. So the savings are not that huge as people think. Right now, there are not that many electric vehicles on the road, but let me tell you, it will change very soon. The difference between gas station and electric station is the gas station sells gasoline by gallons. So you take a gallon of fuel and you pay for it, right? So you pay for every gallon you need. Simple. On the contrary, the electric station has to maintain a lot of current constantly, regardless of whether you're buying or not. So it has to keep energy all the time, and it costs money all the time. And if there is a lot of demand for electric energy in the future, and it will be, there will be lines to get to that station, simply because it takes a long time to charge a single vehicle. To be precise, about 30 minutes to get to 80% of charge, when the battery is relatively new. The older battery will get, the longer it will take to charge it. So that's another thing you're going to have to deal with down the road. Another downside of the battery is you'll have to replace it at one point in the future. And all the money you saved on the gasoline, all these years, you may need to spend on the purchase of the new battery. Some people say, well, I'm probably going to replace this car while the battery is still good. So my question is, who will buy your vehicle knowing that they will need to spend a gazillion of dollars very shortly? Or how much are they going to pay you for that car? Here goes a future resale value. I'll talk about it a little later. Now let's talk about the driving range of these Mercedes EQ models. Mercedes' EQA model has a range of 265 miles, EQB 297 miles, EQC 250 miles, and EQS has a really good range of preliminary of about 400 miles. But here's the thing, if you know anything about batteries, you should know that everything you do in your car will reduce its driving range. Everything. In a regular car with a traditional combustion engine, the alternator takes care of your battery charger. You don't have to do anything. It's completely self-efficient. But in electric vehicle, there is nothing to charge your battery. So it's constantly going down until the next charge. Now, if you drive uphill or lots of mountains, your car will waste a lot of energy. So your battery will go down faster, reducing the driving range. If you step on accelerator, your battery is going down. If you floor it, your battery is going down even faster. If you turn air conditioner, your battery is going down, buddy. If you listen to your sound system loud, if you like to pump it up, feel the bass from your subwoofers. Remember, your driving range is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And if you drive in the cold weather, your driving range can go down as much as 20%. That's huge. It's something you don't have to worry about while driving a regular gasoline-powered vehicle. On top of everything, the older battery gets, the slower it will charge. And less retention of power it can hold. The same is with your cell phone. Now, I always measure the driving range of a regular car by the distance between Los Angeles and Las Vegas. Can you drive on a single tank from Las Vegas to Los Angeles without filling up? Well, nowadays a lot of cars can actually make a round trip without stopping to fill up. But when you look at that driving range of these EQ models, the only model that will probably make it from Los Angeles to Las Vegas is the most expensive EQS model. For all other models, you'd need to plan your route, making sure there is a charger on your way, so you can make a stop to recharge. And it's not something quick. You'd need to stop and wait until your car charges. But the good thing, you can take a nap. Now, as far as charging. You may experience charging errors during the recharging. Like, for example, blinking red light on the charging box, and sometimes charging errors messages on the driver display with authentication errors. In addition, you may get internal components errors while you charge. But the scariest thing is when your plug gets stuck to the charging station. I'm not kidding. And unless you disconnect it from a charger box, your vehicle won't be able to move. I'm gonna talk more in depth about the problems with these electrical models and how to deal with them in one of my upcoming videos. So if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. And one more thing that is very important that a lot of people overlook. If you check the 2021 J.D. Power Index of Customer Satisfaction, one of the most respected on the market, you'll see that battery electric vehicle owners are less satisfied with their service. As you can see, electric vehicle experience of overall satisfaction is 69 points lower than average customer and 76 points lower for service quality. So electric vehicle owners present a unique challenge for dealers. These numbers are really bad. BEV owners are 2.5 times more likely to not experience their service completed right the first time. And things get even worse when you see J.D. Power Dependability Survey, which places Tesla, the most dominant force in the EV market, among the worst ranked car brands in the entire United States. This article was written by Henry Hederian a few months ago. What happened? Tesla didn't have a good showing in its debut. Tesla got a score of 176 PP100, which would place Tesla 31st out of 34 brands covered in the 2021 dependability report. 31st out of 34. Would you buy this car? Would you please let me know in the comment section below. But not until you finish watching this video, because now I'm gonna talk about good stuff. I'm gonna talk about the pros. One of the biggest advantages of the fully electric car, are you ready? You don't have to pay for gasoline anymore. Guys, don't thank me. You're welcome, everyone. Everyone, you're welcome. I don't know if you're paying any attention to the gas prices lately, but I can tell we're heading in the wrong direction. I just stopped by this gas station today and whoa, look at these numbers. Just in 2021, there is a massive jump in pricing, especially here in Los Angeles. Welcome to Los Angeles, the home of the most expensive gasoline. Whatever the reason is, it's so painful to go to the gas station these days. Well, one of the ways to avoid going to a gas station is to get an electric vehicle. As I explained before, it's not really free, but it's much less expensive. Some people say, yeah, Mercedes provides only 2 years of complimentary DC fast charging on the Electrify America network and only 30 minutes per session. Still, I would say it's a pretty good deal anyway. Right? 2 years of free charging. That sounds good. I'll take it. Although you can only charge for 30 minutes free of charge, still it should be enough to charge 70 to 80%, which will give you a pretty good range. To make it even more attractive, Mercedes also gives you 2 years of free maintenance. That sounds like a hell of a good deal. Even though the battery will lose charge as you drive, I don't think you should have any anxiety. Because most people don't drive more than 50 miles a day. And if you look at the range distance those models offer, you should be okay going the whole day on a single charge. Electric vehicle drive systems have a few advantages over the traditional gasoline engine. The obvious one is they can deliver power to the wheels instantly, without lag. Usually, if you hit an accelerator in a regular car, there is a few seconds of lag to build some torque power. Well, in most electrical vehicles, the power is instant. And electric cars are much smoother and quieter since there is no gear shifting and no shaking when idle. Another gimmick you get when you buy an electric vehicle is you get a federal tax break and some local incentives like unlimited access to carpool lanes. But you have to check with your local state for your local availability and up-to-date information. So why is the company who makes electric vehicles like Tesla among the worst ranked car brands in the United States? I mean, to rank 31st out of 34 car brands for the customer satisfaction and dependability survey is a total disaster. Let's face it. So why? Here's my opinion and you may disagree. Tesla doesn't have a network of dealers. There is zero of independent Tesla dealerships. None. So what would you expect? If you want to buy a Tesla, you have to go to this little Mickey Mouse store with no cars and no salespeople. Just a few young guys working their hours who can't wait to go home. Since there are no cars, you have to order your car via computer screen showing you colors that may actually look different in the real life. And then you have to wait for your car to arrive. I mean, who likes to wait? So how would you attract top talent to work there? And then, what if you need to service your vehicle? There are some Tesla service centers, but very few. Depending where you live, it may take a long time to wait to get there. And if your car gets damaged, then try to find parts for your Tesla. Please, don't get an accident if you have Tesla, because you'll be without car for quite some time. Insurance only covers for 30 days, and then you have to pay. If the car manufacturer doesn't have a network of dealerships competing for their customers' business, because competition is good, the result you get is poor customer satisfaction and poor dependability. That's my personal opinion, and if you disagree, please comment below. In this area, Mercedes will have a huge advantage over Tesla, because Mercedes has an extensive network of dealerships offering a huge selection and selling cars on the spot. No waiting. So you get the red carpet treatment for sales, parts, and for service. And most of the time you don't have to deal with shortages, unavailabilities, and incompetence in general. And one more thing I'd like to add. It looks like the majority of automotive manufacturers have big plans for electric mobility. So what's available today in the year 2021-2022 may drastically change in just a few years. And some disadvantages that come with the purchase of electric vehicles that I discussed today may disappear in just a few years, because the technology for electric cars will continue to evolve. At the same time, I don't see regular gasoline-powered vehicles disappearing anytime soon. There are still too many disadvantages of battery-only vehicles, and I still think the electric cars are not for everyone just yet, and they can be used everywhere. Believe it or not, there are many places on Earth where you have cars but no electricity. So no matter what they say, the gasoline-powered vehicles with the good old combustion engine are here to stay for the foreseeable future. And the question of today is, what are the pros and cons of electric vehicles that I didn't cover in this video? Please let us know in the comment section below.